Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. I want to thank you here for joining me at the Allison Parris County Office Building in New City. And hello to those who are watching this on Facebook. Thank you, John. I'd like to welcome everyone to our 2022 Rockland County Budget Address. Standing with me are Commissioner of Finance Stephen DeGroat and Budget Director Steve Grogan. And up front, I want to thank them for their tireless efforts, not just for this budget season, but for the seasons past. I also want to thank all our commissioners and department heads, most who are here right now, because they started working this budget in August. It was their hard work, their insight, and their creativity that has been critical to the success of county government that we have seen here. I want to please give them a round of applause. I know we have some elected officials here. I see my good friend Sheriff Falco is in the audience. Lou. We have legislators Harriet Cornell, legislators Phil Soskin, legislator Michael Grant. I believe that's it for our electeds. Okay, but did I miss anybody? At your own peril, raise your hand. Look, as many as those today here can attest, we have faced many challenges during my term as county executive. In 2014, we had a $138 million deficit when I inherited this taking office, and we were nearly on the brink of fiscal collapse. In 2018 and 2019, we faced nearly a year-long measles outbreak. In March of 2020, as we all know, came and brought devastating health and economic consequences with it. It included a projected $108 million two-year deficit to Rockland County. Through it all, we have fought, and sometimes we have struggled. We have over and over again made the hard choices for one good reason why. We owed it to the people of Rockland County. And our dedicated and hardworking employees had made do with much, much less, and they've gotten the job done. We found new ways and innovative ways to get the job done despite these hurdles. We have done the work, and it is paying off as we turn the corner and now move forward with Rockland's renaissance. It is truly my pleasure to say that this proposed $774.8 million 2022 county budget does not include any property tax increases. And I will point out that we are concurrently paying down a deficit bond of $13.2 million per year. So I'll say that again, even with that hanging around our neck, and my former colleagues know full well how tough that was, this county budget calls for no increase in our property taxes. As we know, this budget is proposed will go to the legislature. I try to make their life easy. I really do. And Michael Grant simply like that. But here's a few items, and we have Legislator Weeder just arrived. Aaron, thank you for being here. There are no layoffs. There are no program cuts in the proposed budget. There are no gimmicks, just a payoff after all of our years of effort and budgeting. Our hard work collectively, legislature and administration, has brought us the $138 million deficit in 2014 to an unbelievable $92 million fund balance or surplus at the end of 2020. We have made the choices necessary to get away from those dark days of double-digit tax increases, questionable budget practices, and drastic budget cuts. We have focused on conservative budgeting and shepherding responsible economic growth to right Rockland's fiscal ship. And I am so proud of what our team in county government, our entirety in county government, and our partners in the private sector have accomplished under difficult circumstances. When the pandemic struck, we acted immediately. Our department heads, including our elected officers of sheriff, the district attorney, and the county clerk, took immediate action to mitigate the financial impacts by implementing austerity measures, instituting a hiring freeze, applying for FEMA assistance, and reducing our capital borrowing. This was a whole government approach, and a bipartisan one at that. The people of Rockland should be very proud of that observation. What did we do? Rockland County closed ranks to protect our residents, our businesses, and most of all, your tax dollars. These steps, coupled with the rebounding economy, help protect your tax dollars. We took a $40 million hit in revenues, but were successful in controlling expenses, underspending by $65 million, turning that disaster that we were facing into an additional $25 million surplus. And I thank all of our employees and our staff for their efforts in that area. Further, our actions here in Rockland County government are being noticed and they're being rewarded. This summer, Standard & Poor's Global Ratings raised the county's long-term underlying ratings 2 notches, from an A positive to a AA, knowing that Rockland's outlook remains stable despite all the challenges. This was the second double rating upgrade of the summer, after Moody's Investors Service upgraded the county's issuer and general obligation limited tax ratings from an A1 to a AA2. Receiving 2 double rating upgrades this summer was truly incredible, as they marked well over a dozen rating upgrades after the years of downgrades where we stood at near junk bond status. And a real-world example of what these rating increases do. Most people don't see much of it. We saved $2.5 million in our 2021 capital borrowing costs, which includes the construction of a new highway garage and other infrastructure improvement projects. So to the average person out there, what that means, that was the equivalent, roughly, of the 2% county property tax increase. That is real money that we are saving our taxpayers by being conservative and being smart. These rating upgrades allowed us also to refinance 3 overall bonds this year to save more of your money. And I want to acknowledge again Commissioner Stephen DeGroat for his work in making sure that we get through these times in the best way possible. There was nearly a $4 million saved in the remaining life of those bonds through that effort, and it was a huge saving of the tax dollars thanks to our better ratings. We never forget that this is your money. We will not stop working to protect it, and while investing in a bright, sustainable future. We continue to plan for the future of this county, ensuring that we are prepared for every eventuality. That is what our responsibility is. And we are working to protect all of you from another recession or an economic downturn. We're also investing in our volunteers who protect our lives and our homes. Early this week, my administration submitted a resolution request to the Legislature to purchase a new fire engine for the Office of Fire and Emergency Services. The new fire engine will be exclusively used for training at our fire training center in Pomona. The current engine is 24 years old and has needed numerous repairs over the last years to keep it in use. The new fire engine will be a state-of-the-art item and used for all types of fire training, whether it be pump operations, driver training, live fire training, fire flows, and hose line advancement. We just opened a new fire safety building for classroom training, and we're in the process of getting a brand new fire operations training building that will have a multitude of training uses, including live fire. We also have created a new capital project for 2022 to build a state-of-the-art concrete burn building. Our volunteer firefighters risk their lives each and every day for this county, and they deserve modern training facilities. I am committed, and I know I have partners in the legislature on this, to upgrading facilities so they can have the best in the Hudson Valley. These men and women deserve no less. So do our residents. And I had a conversation with Legislator Cornell last night at the Nyack Hospital 125th anniversary, and I actually convinced her to come down here today, and now I'm going to tell her what. In this budget, we're also providing $10 million in funding from our undesignated fund balance, or surplus, to put towards the open space program that we partnered to reestablish with County Legislator Harry Cornell in late 2019. This shows you we are back on track. Preserving open space over the last number of years has been a desire. We just could not do it. Now we're in a place where we can. It is so critically important that we preserve the open space in this county to the extent possible. This program was first launched in 1999 by my predecessor, County Executive Scott Vanderhoff, with the goal of acquiring areas of scenic beauty, environmentally sensitive lands, farms, and Hudson River waterfront areas. Until Rockland County's fiscal difficulties during the national recession caused the program to be suspended in 2010. 31 individual properties were acquired, preserving 1,204 acres of land. In early 2020, residents submitted more than 15 nominations of properties that would help us preserve open space and protect our county's environment. However, not every nomination was paired with something very critically necessary, a willing seller. But right now, we're in the process of inspecting, rating, and appraising 4 properties with willing sellers. I want to acknowledge Alan Beers for his work and efforts in this area. We will then make a determination to proceed with a purchase or purchases, prepare the required resolutions, and we'll submit them to the county legislature. Just to revisit the past, because the past is prologue. This was a hugely successful program in the past which provided the county with its first riverfront park, Haverstraw Bay Park, preserved steep slopes, protected wetlands, preserved farmland, as we saw in Cropsey Farms, protected environmentally sensitive areas, and preserved a valuable historic resource. Anybody who goes up to Haverstraw County Bay Park now sees so much special about this county, including the first War on Terror monument in the state of New York and the 9/11 memorial that provides so much peace and reflection for those families who lost their loved ones in those terrible days. I am pleased to be able to move forward by funding the program and cannot wait to share additional information with all of you as it all plays out. We are increasing the amount of county dollars directed to our Office of Economic Development and Tourism by nearly $400,000. We know that so many businesses were negatively impacted by the pandemic and more recently by Hurricane Ida. These funds have been allocated to assist our small business community. We plan to establish a small business grant program in 2022 and will soon be conducting local needs assessment to determine exactly how this funding should be spent. Local businesses are the lifeblood of our community, and we will continue to work to support them. Prior efforts have helped in the overall economic recovery and provided a significant return on our investment. Yes, government does understand ROI. We're also preparing for the nationwide rollout of 988, which the FCC has established as a new nationwide, easy to remember 3-digit phone number for Americans in crisis to connect with suicide prevention and mental health crisis counselors. New York State may handle the cost for the statewide implementation of the program, but we are preparing for the integration of the system into our local crisis services. We have budgeted $230,000 for its implementation with our Department of Mental Health in 2022. Regardless of the cost, we must continue to speak more about suicide and mental health and help eliminate the stigma surrounding these issues. I will just point to one simple, horrible fact. Our veterans lose, I think the number is down, but the number is 18 veterans a day take their own lives. 18 veterans a day. Those who raised their hand, put their lives on the line, and went off to faraway places to protect our liberties. We have to make our best efforts here. We really do. Bringing these subjects into the light of day helps improve health outcomes, and it saves lives. Rockland has long been ahead of the curve in tending to our residents' mental health. We established the Behavioral Health Response Team, or BHRT, in 2015, which serves people of all ages, assesses the need for hospitalization, and includes medical staff. This was done at the recommendation of the County Executive Behavioral Health Commission, established in 2015 and overseen by Myrna Bass-Hargrove, my Community Relations Director, a few years back. Thank you, Myrna. And the Mobile Children's Care Team last year, which consists of a behavioral health worker as well as a family peer advocate who can meet a family at home, school, or elsewhere in the community. We also are procuring for a company called Reps for Responders. We will be helping them and helping first responders who also have a need in dire times to take care of themselves with the things that they see as part of their job. Rockland County will continue to do everything we can to support those in crisis. We'll be utilizing an additional $2.5 million of the fund balance for the renovation of the current highway garage here in New City. With the Highway Department soon moving to a new highway garage under construction, but near completion in Chestnut Ridge, we will be repurposing the building up the hill from here to house a sheriff's office, transport unit, and vehicles. We will also be giving additional space to our probation department within the Allison Parris building behind me. We're also funding $8 million contractual reserve for open union contracts. These funds will be used to settle outstanding union contracts, of which there will be 10 in 2022. I feel the need here to reiterate at least one more time today one observation. We would not be here as we are today without the hard work of our dedicated and essential employees. I am hopeful that we can once again strike a balance, the need to safeguard taxpayer dollars to the need to recognize the critical importance of these union members. We will make every penny count as we have in the past. We have also allocated $467,000 for possible justified increases in funding for our nonprofit contract agencies and 224 agencies. Any funding going to these agencies is attached directly to performance expectations. They receive funding to perform specific services which benefit our residents. As we always have known, we do this because they can provide these services at a lesser cost than if county government itself went off to provide it. But with tight money followed by COVID crisis, their funding has been scarce for a number of years. While the simple cost of food, fuel, and keeping a roof overhead has increased significantly, we recognize the value of these organizations and the criticality of the services they provide to all of our residents. The pandemic has created aches and pains in our wallets and purses, but we must do what we can to support these agencies while ensuring that they can go on providing help to our residents. We are turning the next page here in Rockland, and the first words we're seeing of the next chapter are truly exciting. We have made incredible progress over the past 7.5 years. We have finally fiscally healthy, and we can turn our focus on reviving and rebuilding Rockland County. We're coming out of crisis, all while minimizing future costs and continuing to refuse to kick the can down the road for necessary improvements for future generations. We will not ignore our infrastructure. It is incongruous to me in any way, shape, or form that we will look at our needs that we have now and that we will wait down the roads for our kids and grandkids to pick up the bill at 3, 4, and 5 times the amount of money. That is just not right. Rockland County does not do that to their kids. And with the infusion of $63 million of federal dollars from the American Rescue Plan, we can make sure that every part of our county is part of this revival. These dollars are separate and apart from our regular budget that will be used to invest and replenish our community. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying anything will be easy, because we don't know exactly what the future holds. If the surprises of the last few years doesn't say that clearly, I don't know what will. But we will continue to be prudent and protective in our practices. We will not stop looking for ways to improve efficiencies while eliminating delays and unnecessary costs. We will rebuild Rockland so that it works better for each and every one of our residents. And we will continue to do so in sustainable ways to preserve our county for the future generations. We do owe them. We are building resiliency so what we can handle whatever comes next, whether it be another unknown disease, economic crisis, or a climate change event. We are not nearly finished with the renaissance of Rockland County. And I want to thank the legislature for their help on previous budgets, and note that this year I look forward to working with both the legislative majority and legislative minority to accomplish these goals. Thank you very much for your time.